Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Abe with Mystic Gen Mara, a small town mystic in the middle of Idaho. And tonight is going to be a little bit different. This week's going to be a little bit different. It's the last week of December. It's also the last week of 2022. So what I was going to do is offer a year-long kind of outlook, maybe forecast if you want to call it that, for the coming year for each of the four elements. And as I usually do, I start with fire and then go around the Zodiac pattern, which is fire, earth, air, water. So today is going to be fire, which is Monday. Tomorrow, the 27th, will be earth. Wednesday will be a preloaded video. And then Thursday and Friday will be the next two elements, which is air and water. And then on Saturday, which is New Year's Eve, I believe. I've been rearranging calendars. Yes. I will possibly do a live stream. I haven't quite decided yet. Depends on what's going on that night. So, otherwise, tonight I am going to be using the Angel Tarot and the Fairy Tarot from Radley Valentine, which are really compatible decks, and I don't want to just use one deck, and I don't know why I feel this way when I do this type of reading. I like to do two for the full year so we can get messages as they come through. I have one random hair. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the decks and allow the different cards to come forward for each month. I will switch back and forth however I feel led at that time, and we'll go over the energy that's projecting at this moment for the coming year. As usual with most of these readings that I do, I try to say this, most of them, these are not meant as, confirmation or condemnation or any of the rest of them. They are strictly for entertainment purposes, but take the messages that work for you and allow them to that's interesting. Things not going again? Allow any message that comes through to be active for you in the moment, and if they are not, if it doesn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's going to be for somebody else. So, I am just checking to see if, I'm live on YouTube. What is up with Odyssey? I'm not really sure what's happening right here. Oh, there we are. Okay. It didn't show that I was live, but now it does. So I guess it just needed to be refreshed. Anyway, sorry, I am working on this live stream thing. I've done several this month, but I'm still nervous or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, take whatever message resonates with you. You can ignore the rest. If you would like a more personalized reading, you can check out my website. There is information in the description, and the decks that I am using are also linked in the description. So let's get started, and I will tell you which deck I am shuffling for each month. So there should be approximately 12 cards pulled for this reading. There could be a little bit more depending on how the decks want to talk. For January, for fire signs of 2023, I'm using the fairy deck to start with, and it is the Four of Summer. Being distracted and failing to see an opportunity, taking someone or something for granted, and discontentment with life. So it looks like in January, fire signs, this is a good time to maybe do some reevaluations, to look at maybe those opportunities that you've been ignoring or choosing to ignore. And what's coming through is find a way to enjoy life. Even if things have been total chaos in 2022, look for different ways that you can bring enjoyment forward so that you can just enjoy everything there is to enjoy that you can possibly enjoy in this coming year. And starting in January, maybe look at things that you have been ignoring, taking for granted, and find ways you can show compassion, show that you care. If it's your spouse that you come home every night and they have dinner on the table, maybe take them out, maybe bring them flowers, something along those lines. But look for ways that you can really work with reconnecting, coming back into the now moment. So use January as a time period to really reconnect with your everyday life. Practice grounding, practice appreciation, practice gratitude is another one that's really being brought forward right now, so that you can reconnect. Because when you're grounding yourself more in the now moment, you can experience that joy, you can experience that pleasure, you can really start to have more fun with life. But they're saying that when you're always moving and you're always going and you're always pushing forward, you're not staying in the moment. You tend to be projecting yourself several days in the future. So try to come back in the month of January and reground. From a grounded position, you can launch yourself amazing distances. But right off the bat, they're saying to, bring yourself back and find grounding again. So for February, we're working with the Angel Tarot, and it is the Four of Fire: contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, the successful completion of a project. So in January, it was saying to get grounded and reconnect, find the joy again. And in February, what's coming forward is, now that you have worked on grounding, working on staying in the now you've found and reconnected to that enjoyment in life. Being the Four of Fire, this is the four that's aligned with your energy in particular, and it's bringing a more happy home life. It's also talking about romantic connections. February has, Valentine's Day. So this card is really about rekindling that the passionate fire that you fire signs are known for, and bringing it into your home so that your family can experience it. It doesn't matter which gender you are, male or female, just understand that this energy coming in is a way to reconnect with your spouse and really trigger that fire, rekindle that spark that brought you to that person. And also, if you have been working on some long-term projects and maybe they're getting towards the end, if you can find time to end them in February is what's coming forward, because that's a good celebratory energy that's working forward in the moment. So we'll stick with the angels for now, and we'll see what's going on for March of 2023. I still cannot believe we're that far into the year already. Or already just ready to switch to a different year. It feels like we just started this one. It's been a very long couple of years, I feel like. But of course, when you start new things, that usually works that way for a minute. March's energy coming forward for fire is the Six of Earth. Gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan or paying off debts. So this is all about bringing yourself into a positive state within your home and financial. Earth is associated with the coins in the traditional tarot, and that is finances and home life. So the Six of Earth is really talking about giving and receiving. The energy is very similar, so if you're giving of your time, be open to receiving of time. And this month of March is about finding ways to gift your time and energy, or if you have the finances, gift that, but also be open to receiving those gifts as well, whether it's receiving someone's time, receiving a surprise bonus maybe from work. But March is really looking at the energy of giving and receiving, and if this is a new subject for you, maybe that's something to look into and research during the month of March, is just kind of look at what it means to gift and what it means to receive, what it means to offer service or finances to someone, and what it means to receive it. Giving and receiving in today's world have kind of gotten convoluted a little bit, but it's the energy that is the most important part behind it. And so maybe looking into what that energy really means and how it applies in your life is a good thing to do in March. So let's use the fairies and see what they have to say. And with these, like I said, with these readings, they're general, they're overviews. And what I like to do with the year-long ones like this is each month you're tapping into an energy that maybe has a lesson, something to work on for journaling, or something that you can connect to in maybe clearing out, like grounding out the energy from something. So each of these monthly readings, they're not on a specific subject, they're talking about an overall energy field. So like the Six of Earth, it's the concept of giving and receiving would be a good one to journal or to work on for that month. And for the April, sorry, we have the Major Arcana card from the fairies, which is number 7, the Chariot. Success that comes from dedication and self-discipline. Celebrate your accomplishments and being in the spotlight. So this is a good time to look at the things that you have accomplished. How far have you come in the last, they're talking longer than a year, like in this time in your life, this job, this relationship, this spiritual journey. Look at how far you've come and celebrate that. Celebrate your victories, big victories, small victories. Celebrate everything during the month of April. Find ways to really tap into that success. Work on your dedication and self-discipline could be another way. So you could spend time in April meditating and building your will, starting or continuing if you got started on like a New Year's resolution. In April would be a good time to check back in and make sure that you've stuck with it and you're still going with it. But be ready. The Chariot is about movement. It's not just, oh, look at how far I've come, look at how great everything is. They're also saying celebrate your victory because you've got more to do. So enjoy the ups and downs, a quiet time, but also that planned excitement moving forward is what April's energy is coming forward for fire. So let's look at May's energy, and we'll keep using the fairies for now. And I like to just let the cards come forward as they need. That's how I read intuitively. I know a lot of people like to do the whole pull from the top or pull from the bottom, depending. And that's awesome. I learned that way, but my actual everyday practice has shifted significantly. So we're at May. You have the 10 of Autumn. Take steps to ensure financial security of your children or your loved ones, making wise investments, planning for retirement, and honoring traditions. So this is really an interesting card considering you're planning for the future of your family with the 10 of Autumn, which is aligned with the 10 of Earth. So you've got a lot of energy of the hearth, the home, and family. And it's interesting because it's in May, which is also a fertility month. You have the ancient holiday of Beltane there, which is really about fertility and moving forward in developing, planning, and working on expanding your family. There we go. So this card is saying, now that you're in this period of fertility, of growth, of basically moving forward, but expansion as well, don't forget to plan for the future. It doesn't mean live there. Don't go there and live. Come here, stay here, plan for that. So like one finger plan that direction, but live here. So you want to set things up so that as you grow, it's still financially covered. And with the 10 of Autumn means you've had quite the journey coming to this point, and now you're in a more financial state. And they're being loud about financial, so that could be what's coming up. They're really talking about you've come a long ways with your finances, and now it's time to really set those goals, set those plans, work with, and this is not financial advice, but work with the people who can help you plan for the future and work for a long-term, highly, like a beneficial retirement plan type of energy. So let's hop over to the angels and see what they have for the month of June. Oh, that was quick. So for June, we have the Major Arcana card. So this is a life lesson. This is something big to work on, fire signs. And it is number 6 of the Lovers with Archangel Raphael. Intimate relationships, carefully weighing decisions, and good health. And June is really about, in the northern hemisphere anyway, we're all about getting outside and really starting to go do the outdoorsy thing again, which also is a recovery from the winter, cold, cloudy, not sunny months. So we're getting back into that sun. And you also have in June, you have Midsummer. You have the longest day of the year, June 21st. So that is really about tapping into that a really active masculine energy, this really energy of projection, of moving forward, but you have the Lovers card coming forward. And so this is a time for celebration of you and your relationships. And they're saying intimate relationships, but intimate doesn't always mean bedroom activities. Intimate is that soul-to-soul connection. It's that feeling of this person knows you so well that you don't even have to talk to be in the room, and you're completely content with them. It's knowing each other's secrets. It's knowing the inner part of that person's soul. So the intimate relationship could be with a really close friend. It could be with your spouse. And weighing your decisions. This is not a time to just jump into something. This is a time for a little bit more contemplation, like you did in May. You're planning for the future. June, you're still planning on that future, but now it's in a more intimate way. You're planning your relationships out, whereas May was about planning financially. Now you're planning emotionally. But you also have Archangel Raphael, who's all about physical health, and so could be a lot of healing that goes on in June for you, but there's different energies you can work with that have been brought up. So see which one of those resonates with you the closest and work on that for the month of June if you choose. And we're going to bounce back to the fairies and see what they have to say for the month of July. The fairies are being a little bit non-communicative tonight, so which isn't always a bad thing, because usually it means they're bringing something big forward. So the month of July has the 10 of Summer, an emotionally fulfilling life with family or friends, raising children wisely, and people you can trust. So July is really about, in June you were connecting on the intimate level with your inner circle, with your close friends, and with your romantic partner. And July is coming forward saying, now this is the time. And July, a lot of people associate with picnics and camping and barbecues on the back porch with friends and a lot more of the outdoorsy social stuff. So the 10 of Summer is saying, you've done a lot, you've built your social circle, now enjoy it. And allow the kids to be kids, allow them to go play in the mud and get dirty and carry on, and raise them wisely. So you're teaching them the natural ways. If you have the option to have a garden, work in the garden with your children. Teach them, simple things like how to properly build a rock firing, or, get a fire pit or something. But it's this teaching the children in the right way. It's teaching them the ethics. It's teaching them morals. It's teaching them how to live and exist in a positive way, showing them the positive aspects of the masculine, the positive aspects of the feminine. They're really talking about being around your friends and family, the people that you trust, and as a group you're working with educating yourself and the next generation. So let's look at August. I'm trying to do this on a small desk, and it is a little tricky sometimes. So we'll go back to the angels for August, and we have the 9 of Air, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. So this is a little bit of a warning in August, and you also have the holiday of Lammas, I believe it's Lammas, in... I completely just lost the name of that holiday. I think it's Lammas in August. Let me look real quick. But you have this warning of not getting too much in your head. Air is really about intellect, being in the mind, and that's normally not a big deal, but it's also not the greatest thing if you're worrying. You really want to bring that out of your head. You don't want to worry about the future. And the 9 of Air is talking about that little voice in the back of your head, the one that's always going, well, you better not be happy for too long, because guess what? Things are going to shift on you. La, la, la. Okay, that little voice needs to go find a hobby somewhere, like go find a rock to beat your head on. Because it's not helpful. It's not beneficial. Having the warning system is one thing, but the constant worrying that little nag in the back of your head does is not beneficial. And you have the first harvest, which is August 1st, and it is Lammas. And during that first harvest, It's basically like a fruit harvest. You have your berries, you have a lot of your summer squashes are becoming ripe at that time. So it's your first harvest. And so what the Nine of Air is warning about is to not worry so much about what could be happening. Everything is up in the air. We all have the ability to shift and change. We all have the ability for inner growth as well as external growth. And this card is saying, but don't worry about the details. Getting into that cycle of, oh, well, what if this happens? Well, oh no, what if this happens? Oh no, what if this happens? So August is a good time to kind of work through any of the more negative energies that you have built up around you. Work through the things that are worrying you. If it's something that's like a really constant nagging sensation around August, cycle it back. Okay, well, I'm worried about finances. Well, why am I worried about finances? Well, I might not be able to pay my bills. Well, why am I worried about that? And work it back, and you're going to come to a point, and it's going to be this ding aha moment when it happens, because I've had it happen, and I have a lot of my friends who've had this happen when they do this work backwards pattern. You'll come back to the root of that worry, and when you do, you can offer healing to yourself for that. Call in your angels, call in divine, and have them help you work through and process why you feel that way at that time, and allow yourself to heal from it and move forward. And when you do, you'll notice that the worries mellow out so that they're not as consistent, which is a good thing. And so that is for August. Make sure I got my right months here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, sorry. Now we're moving on to September, and we'll hop back with the fairies for September. And our September message is the Princess of Summer. Gentle, sensitive, kind, but inexperienced. A new relationship or emotional experience. Invitations to social events. A compassionate friend you can share your concerns with. Well, September also is the autumn equinox. So you've got a Sabbath in that time period. So you have some powerful energy on that day. It's the 21st of December. We're in December. 21st of September. And with the Princess of Summer, it's about refreshing. It's this new energy. It's more of a feminine energy, so it's going to be more of an emotional experience coming up in September. And they're saying on the card that it's new relationships or emotional experiences. It could be a lot of different forms of new, and it's going to be stuff within their emotional state. It could be finding out about having a new addition to your family. It could be a friend's new addition that they've been trying for a while. It could be something along those lines, but it's going to trigger an emotional response for you. And the invitation to social events, it's kind of winding down. You have Labor Day here in the United States. And so you've got like the last minute camping trips, the last minute barbecues, the starting to go out and doing the harvesting thing with your friends. If you have the opportunity to go to like an orchard where they do a you pick orchard, you bring a bucket, pay so much money, and fill the bucket out in the trees. But it's really about a more social environment, but it's getting towards the cold period. So in the older traditions, this would be getting to the end of the big social events. So it's a way you can connect with your community. And like it says on the last of the card, it's a compassionate friend you can share your concerns. So this is really a healing time. You've got these new, happier energies coming in. But if there's something that's bothering you, this card is reminding you to reach out. Be okay with having that close friend. You've worked with making these more intimate and close connections and building a bit more of a social life with the cards so far this year. And September is saying, if you're still having some struggles, it's okay to reach out. You've built the foundation. Now you can, use it, and in the proper time, you will pass the blessing on to another. So let's look at October with the fairies. And I'm 100% just following whichever deck my hands go for. So, and let's see. Yeah, October, sorry. It is the 8th of summer, and so we have October, which is also has a holiday of Samhain in it, which is October 31st-ish, depending on which calendar you choose to look at. And the card is the 8 of summer, the desire for a more meaningful life, realizing it's time to move on and choosing to make life decisions. So you've had a lot of energy moving forward and you've built some really good connections. And the 8 of summer is a time to do some reevaluating. So during the month of October, we're moving into that busy but slowing time, and it's a weird dichotomy that goes on there because you're really super busy if you are like like a lot of people that in my personal circle, we're processing food for the winter, we're getting into hunting season, and yes, even as pagans we like to go hunting sometimes, but you're getting things set up for the cold months, the less abundant months, because you've got that cold period where not much grows here in the north. So you're looking, while you're doing all of that, this 8 of summer is coming forward saying, what isn't serving you anymore? What are you needing to reevaluate? What is it that you need to look at and maybe dispose of? And at the end of October, you have Samhain, which is a good time to send anything that you're ready to release into the underworld to be cleansed and refreshed. It doesn't mean it's going to come back to you in a cleaned up form. It means you're releasing the energy so that you can be cleansed and refreshed away from that. So really look at how you can reevaluate things in your life, fire signs, so that you can move forward with less baggage, that stuff that sits on your back shoulders. So let's look at the angels for the month of November. We're almost to the end of a year-long overview. So let's see, November for fire 2023. And we have the Hermit, number 9 in the major arcana. So these are life lessons. These are things that are big, things that you probably should pay attention to in some way, shape, or form. And you have the Hermit with Archangel Raziel, spending time in quiet meditation, spiritual teachings, and self-discovery. And so November, it looks like, is a time to pull away. During this and most of this year so far, you've been very outgoing, fire signs. You've been very social. You've been connecting. You've been kind of a mover and a shaker type of energy going forward. But then in October, they're saying, slow down. Time to bring her down. Time to look at and do some evaluation, which moves you right into November, and you have the Hermit card. The Hermit is a spiritual seeker that goes away, that separates himself, and I say him because that's traditionally the position, away from the world. They go off on a mountaintop. They go off to a cave. I'm not saying do that, but it's November. It's cold outside. But to pull away. So you've been really super social this entire year. And October, you're looking at reevaluating some things, clearing out some of the energetic junk that builds up. And in November, reconnecting with your spiritual side, reconnecting with your inner circle, but taking that time to step away and really connect back in. Work with divine source energy. Start, get back to a meditation practice or a prayer practice, an active inspirational journaling type stuff, but really tap back into that, pulling away from the chaos. Instead of, checking your phone first thing in the morning, set the time to meditate, set the time to be quiet. But this month of November is really about taking that deep breath and reconnecting with the core of who you are and the heart of divine. So just something to think about for November of 2023. So let's hop over here to December of 2023 for fire signs. And we'll end the year with the angels. And they popped out 2 cards. So first of all, we have the 8 of Fire, events moving at a fast pace, delays are over, many things happening at once. That's a lot of energy coming off of November. But then you also have the 5 of the major arcana, which they are calling unity, it's the Archangel Sandalphon. Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations, seeking out mentors and like-minded friends. So after your downtime in October and November, where you're kind of bringing things down, you're reconnecting spiritually, and you're just quieting yourself, it's because you have a launching pad that is going to hit you in December. You're going to have quiet times for October, November, and fire signs. Your typical fire personality is going to flare back up in December. And so you have a lot more movement and a lot more projection forward in December. You have a lot of instant movement. This could be promotions at work. It could be starting that new job and all of a sudden it takes off. It could be a new relationship. They're being really loud about new things coming in in December. So if I'm stuttering, it's not because they're just giving me a lot of information. But you have the unity. So this is about building a relationship. It's building community. You've done a lot of community building this year, but now you're coming into, you've done some clearing out, you've done some hermit pulling away, and now it's time to reconnect after your more quiet month of November. And when you're doing that, you're working on a spiritual energy level, because what you learn with the hermit is energy frequencies. You learn spiritual advancement. You learn spiritual lessons. And so in December, you're moving back into this mover and shaker energy. You're picking everything back up and you're ready to start rocking and rolling again. But what you're doing when you do that is you're tapping back into the core of your life. You had the quiet time to figure out who that was, and now you're back into it, but you are doing it with the knowledge of who and what is stepping into this faster pace. And being December, you're working with some of the more traditional energies and looking at how your traditions that you were taught are going forward. Is it something that you still want to keep up with? Is it something you still want to use? Or is it something to start maybe a new tradition for your family or your situation, is what they're talking about with this energy. Working with the Archangel Sandalphon, he is such a fun angel to work with. And so the month of December is about finding that joy back in it as well. When you work with Sandalphon, he's going to help you find balance in your everyday life. But don't be surprised if you start finding games popping up. Like, you'll be at work, you're at a business meeting, and all of a sudden someone starts playing tic-tac-toe next to you while you're sitting in this serious business meeting. And it's just a way to lighten the energy so you don't get burnt out or, drugged down too far. So I hope that this little overview was beneficial for you. And like I said, these are fun to do, just kind of give you an idea of what to look forward to in the next year. And you can use this as a way to look at the energy for that month, and this is how I usually do it when I work for myself, because I'll do my own reading on this on January 1st for me personally. And I look at the overall energy, but then I also sit down and note in my journal, what am I journaling and what kind of a spiritual lesson am I working on for that month? And it's a way to help me kind of plan out the year as far as what do I personally want to work on? What is it I'm trying to learn? Maybe bring forward something new for my business. So these are all ideas that you can work with in the energy field out there. And if it works, great for you. And if this particular type of reading doesn't work, I totally understand that too. So with that being said, I think, where are we at here? About 35 minutes. I guess we'll just hop over and go to the towards the ending of everything. Please leave a like on the video if you did enjoy this video. If you're enjoying this type of content that I'm offering, please hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions or comments, even criticism, just drop them in the comment section below. The one thing that I just really believe that we all need more of in our life is be respectful. I mean, even if you're telling me that you think I'm totally crazy, that's fine. Just let me know in a less than hostile form. But other than that, I hope everyone has an awesome rest of their evening. You can check this out and readings like this tend to be timeless, so if you see it in December of 2025 and it resonates with you, then obviously that's when you were supposed to hear it. So I hope you guys have an awesome evening and a great rest of your week, and I will see you all tomorrow with Earth's reading. So we'll talk to you then. Bye.